Good evening, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up.
What is going on, lads and ladettes? We are back with the homeless consultant. Looking a little more, yeah, this is his bearded look. His grizzled, he's kind of had enough beard. He's not going to take it anymore. Alright, we do have a little bit of a news cycle event, so I might as well make this video. Governor Tim Walz, one of his arch nemesis, his arch nemesis, Tim Walz, previous governor in Minnesota, has been promoted to the vice president pick for the Kamala Harris campaign. And yeah, he had a long-standing feud with Tim Walz and his running of Minnesota at the time, especially in considering the effects his policies would have on the homeless in the area. All right, so Tim Walz, homeless versus housed life. So obviously this is going to be a dig at Tim living large and Paul living in his car. All right. Paul, let's go for it. Trucker Paul. I want to call him Trucker Paul. Let's go for it. 10-4, good buddy.
Hello and welcome to the Homeless Consultants channel. My name is Paul B. I am the Homeless Consultant. What I want to do here is document the difference between the way that the homeless live versus the way that housed people live. I'm going to extract this from my hour-and-a-half long video entitled Computer Models 101 for Government Officials, Part 3, which I think is one of the best videos I've put up there. And as you'll notice at the current time, it has 19 views. So I'm going to pull out
Even I get more views than that, Paul.
About 13, 15 minutes where I discuss the difference in how people live, which these computer models do not take into effect. But here, hopefully, you will finally get a sense of how what Governor Tim Walz has done
That's Vice President Walz to you. Well, not elect, but soon enough.
Discriminates against the homeless because we live fundamentally differently. He hasn't just created...
If Paul is still out there, this is going to definitely be pissing him off today. He hated this guy. He was one of the big bads.
22 situations for us. He has created the conditions where there is nothing else we can do except die. I present you with that extract from my other video. I was at work and I got an email that said, Governor has announced a stay-at-home order. They changed my schedule for the next day, which was the last day you could work, so that instead of working at night like I usually do, I was working in the morning. And then you can't work anymore. And I was just in shock. I was like, this isn't possible. This is the United States of America. We have a constitution. You can't do that. That's not possible. So within 2 hours, whenever my next break was, I immediately went outside, got on the phone, called the governor's office. First thing I did. The first thing out of my mouth when I talked to that aide was the only thing and the
Oh, that poor aide just copped it hard.
most important thing I had to say. I said, the governor needs to understand that not everybody lives the same way that he does. That's exactly what I said to this woman. And she completely misunderstood because she also doesn't understand that other people do not live the same way that she does. You know what she said instead? She responded by saying, Governor Walz is the most empathetic man I've ever met. He didn't always live in a mansion. Well, folks, I wasn't talking about living in a mansion. I wasn't talking about him living in a mansion and me living in a 2-bedroom suburban home or an apartment or a trailer. I was talking about I fundamentally live in a different way than housed people do. Me and the other 19,601 or more homeless Minnesotans, that is. All right? To show you what I mean, which is something that she didn't bother to investigate, she just gave me that bogus phone number and said to give me a call if you need anything. Here's my cell number, and it was a non-working number. Here's what I was talking about. For all these people who are sitting at home, if they feel oppressed because they're stuck at home, look at what they get to benefit from. They have familiar surroundings. They have safety. They have security. They have privacy. They have no harassment from others in theory. Of course, where I live, the reason I'm living in the car is because I had nothing but harassment from my neighbors. But if they actually enforce the law, which they tend to do for other
Then move. Why didn't you move? You should have moved. Just move.
people, not for transplants, then no harassment from others. They have control over their environment.
Did he make any attempt to move? Like, that's what I don't know. Outside of just like getting in this car and maybe like abandoning his lease on whatever that place was. That I'm guessing it was a rental. He didn't own it. Did he attempt to like go anywhere else? So you've got a problematic neighbor. It happens. I understand. It's not great, but it's that kind of lottery you have to play when it comes to renting. It's the rental game. One day you get a great neighbor. 2 years on, that neighbor moves, and then you get some fucking crazy son of a bitch who's playing like, you know, the worst rap music you've ever heard, and you know, doing spice or something, or bath salts. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but you just like maybe break your lease, get out of there, find something else. Hopefully you line up something else before you got out. So did Paul ever attempt this? Like, was this ever a consideration, or was it straight in this car?
They can set the temperature, the humidity. They have control over their physical stuff. They have a comfortable bed. They have a toilet. They have a bath or a shower or both. They have a kitchen where they can prepare nutritious meals, hot meals. They have storage space. They have electricity. They have waste disposal.
Yeah, that was a big thing that he lost. He often laments the fact that he had so much terabytes of backup space. Maybe he ran like a little server or something that he just back all his stuff up to. And because he was forced out, I don't know if he left it behind. I don't know what the hell the deal was, but he lost it all.
They have running water. They have full and immediate access to all their possessions. They have mobility in the sense that they can at least move their body. They can make their body move within the confines of their home. They have a place to exercise for the same reason. If it's only jumping jacks and push-ups, they can do something to get their heart going. They have the ability to earn an income. Many of them can work from home.
Paul, just step out of the car, do some calisthenics, do a jumping jack, run around like the perimeter of the car park. Like, all these excuses he makes, like he's literally in the outdoors. He could probably do a lap around this car park. Keep an eye on the car as he does this lap, so no one's coming near it. He's got his eyes on the car. Like, what the hell?
Like every single one of my coworkers, I'm the only one who's not allowed to work because I'm homeless, which is discrimination, of course. Or you could engage in internet commerce and at least maybe get a little extra income. And lastly, they have an address so that they can receive things like stimulus checks, for example, unemployment. Now let's look at what I have living in this car as a homeless person in the state of Minnesota, which is a hotbed for osteo-phobia. They don't care if the homeless live or die. They put a homeless person on the news every 2 or 3 months to try to give everyone the impression we're taking care of the homeless, and they leave us out here to suffer and die off camera. Let's see what my life is like. Do I have familiar surroundings? Only to the extent that I move this car from one place to another and I end up repeating myself in many cases. But I have to keep moving all the time. I have to dodge the police. I have to dodge the housed people who are such a threat to me. There's nothing familiar. I'm not going to the same...
I mean, are you talking about the stalkers, the psychopaths? Like, yeah, it's interchangeable words he uses that, I don't know, it's just confusing to housed people.
place. Well, like I said, when I wake up, the first thing I do is look in both directions to figure out where I am today. There's nothing familiar about it. Am I safe? Do I have safety? I'm inside a vehicle.
Has anyone physically attacked him in this car? Has anyone tried to jack him? I've never heard any stories like that. It's like he's always in fear of it happening, but no one had, like, there was like a Somali guy or something that used to come up to his car or something and get very close. Not too recently, like in the last year or so, but he kind of befriended him and sort of was able to talk to him and understand his position, which is, you know, kind of crazy for Paul, because you'd think, oh no, there's no way, but yeah, he actually talked to the guy, and you know, they have a lot more in common. So, but he's always talking about safety. He always thinks like someone's out to get him, and he'll be hurt. It's like, has anyone like really roughed him up, grabbed him, beat him to the ground, and like shook him down? No, I don't think. I feel like we would have heard that story by now. So he's in constant fear of something that's gonna happen at some point.
Vehicles are one of the leading causes of death. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since the stay-at-home order, I am in this car, except when I step out to use the bathroom, get gas, get food. Every time I start up the car and move along, I could get in a car crash. I could either lose everything or I could be killed or severely injured. This thing is got electrical problems out the wazoo. It could catch fire at any time. And I'm breathing those fumes, the carbon monoxide, all the time. That's why my singing voice is completely gone now.
Oh yeah, that's the reason.
I have security. I'm in a car that is... I'm literally sitting inside a cage that has glass at 360 degrees around me. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't have anything that resembles security, friends. People can see me from a long ways away. They can watch me. They can have binoculars. They can spy on me all they want. And I've just got this open who knows what's out there is all I can see. How about privacy? For the same reason, no. Anybody...
Yeah, it seems to be a reoccurring thing where I think it literally is a mental disorder where you live in these cars, you stay in these cars, and then you get so stir crazy that, and you might be a very rational, level-headed person, but you're in these cars constantly, and all of a sudden you start noticing the patterns. You notice the white pickup, the lady with the bag that like looks at you a little bit too long, or looks askance at you and holds the view too long, and you notice she appears every now and again in random places that you are, and then yeah, you become transfixed on the thought. I mean, I'm not to, it's not to say like even I'm sitting in a car day in, day out, or you watching these videos would not be the same. So it's probably is a mental deterioration that happens after a while, where this sort of thing, where you just become stir crazy, you're just looking at things constantly that have like really, to be honest, it's not a stalker, it's not someone that's like going to hurt you or antagonize you. It's just a person living their life, but you've now identified them as part of this pattern. And yeah, it becomes all encompassing. You become lost in it.
But you can look in this car and see me right now. I don't have anything that resembles privacy, and I haven't had anything in 3 weeks that resembles privacy. When's the last time you had that? That's what a prisoner experiences. These people in their homes, they're not prisoners, friends. They are not prisoners. They're bad citizens for not standing up, but they're not prisoners. No harassment from others. I put many videos up about how I'm stalked by these housed people all the time. No. Control over my environment. First of all, I'm not in my environment. I am, by definition, I'm homeless. I'm always on someone else's property or I'm on public property. I'm not on my property. I have no environment. Fundamentally different way to live. I am in someone else's environment all day, every day. I cannot...
Yeah, he needs to be like on 1,000 acres, and then he's got like some little cottage cabin, like a bit of a Uncle Ted sort of setup, where it's just him surrounded by a lot of nature. I want to say he would be okay with that. So it's just like a farmstead, and you have to drive up a long driveway, maybe through some like woods or something, and then you get there, and it's just his little cabin. But even then, I don't know if he'd be fully content with that. I think this lifestyle is the only lifestyle that works for him and will ever work for him.
Control who or what is near me. If I don't want a scary looking free candy van sitting right next to my car, I can't do a lot about it because they can just pull up right next to me at any moment. All I can do is leave. I cannot control the temperature in this car. The heater doesn't work. The air conditioner doesn't work. This window doesn't roll up or down. I can't get airflow. I can't do anything. Right now, it's more than 80 degrees in this car, and it's going to get hotter today. I can't control whether it's dark or light. I have to go with the flow. I can't, you could put blankets up in the window and everything, but then you introduce other perils, because now I can't see my environment to maintain my security. But I can't go in and just turn the dimmer switch down. I'm at the mercy of the sun, whether it's overcast or bright. I cannot control, again, the lighting. Is it overcast? Or if it's overcast, I can actually see this computer and get some work done. If it's super bright, I can't see anything on the screen and I can't get anything done. I can just sit in the seat and vegetate. That's all I do. I can't control the humidity, because my humidity is whatever it is outside. That's it. I'd have no climate control in the car. I can't control whether my environment is wet or dry. If it starts raining, I have to step out of here to get gas, food, and the bathroom. And I'm going to get wet. And I'm going to sit back in this car wet. I don't have control over that. I have little protection.
I mean, at very wet, you get a pee jug. You got to get a pee jug. I don't think you get a shit bucket. Unless you can, like, manage it. Unless you can, like, squat, like, fold the seat down on the passenger side and somehow, like, well, I think Paul's a bit too big for that. Yeah, maybe you can't literally squat in your own car. Maybe you just like, all right, maybe this is what you do. So you're in the driver's seat and then you hollow out, because this car's a wreck anyway. The Cougar was a wreck. You hollow out the passenger seat, and then you put your shit bucket in there, and then maybe you get like a foam, like an insert where you put it back in. So you take your shit bucket out once you're done, hopefully place it at the door until the rain stops, and then you put the insert back into where the shit bucket was. Does that make sense? Yeah, there's like unconventional ways to maybe make this thing easier.
Protection from the rain. For that reason, I have no protection from hail or lightning as the storms begin.
Wait. I thought Minnesota had pussy weather. Like, their weather does not compare. Like, so when it's a downpour or a thunderstorm, it's like Paul laughs at that shit. Like in Iowa or Idaho, wherever he was, like he was a storm chaser or some sort of thing like that, and he would say, "Oh yeah, this is some real weather."
Do I have a comfortable bed? No. I sit in this seat for the last 3 weeks, 24 hours a day, except when I go to the bathroom or food or gas. I have sat in this seat for 3 weeks. No blood flow, no exercise, nothing. I've got this metal bar jamming into my side the whole time. No. Comfortable bed. Do I have a toilet? No. To a public toilet, which with the stay-at-home order pretty much limits me only to gas stations where wonderful, nice, housed Minnesotans urinate all over the seat, sometimes defecate on the seat, sometimes vomit on the seat,
Yeah.
and the homeless guy has to clean all that up before he uses it. Do I have a bath or a shower? No. This is day, 24, I think, now?
Anytime Fitness. Anytime Fitness. Just Go to Anytime Fitness.
Without a shower or a shave. I want this hair gone so badly. Do I have a kitchen where I can prepare nutritious meals?
He did come up with a, yeah, he just basically, I think what he did was he got a shaver and then I wouldn't say it's ingenious or like actually smart. It was just a workaround that was kind of, I don't know, forward thinking for Paul, where so he'd start shaving his face, but he had to have this little vacuum underneath it. So as the clippings would come off, it would vacuum underneath it. It was kind of, yeah, kind of like interesting.
And hot meals. No. The only thing I've eaten is potato chips and Cheez-Its, with two exceptions. On 2 occasions, I bought a pizza, but I don't have enough money to do that often. Otherwise, for 3 weeks, I have eaten potato chips and Cheez-Its. Do you understand? I live fundamentally different than Governor Walz. Storage space. I have no...
Yeah, this is just like it's forced helplessness. There's nothing to say that he can't get a little portable griller or something compact. There's a million and one videos of these guys like jerry rigging little grillers or something into their DC unit, or the little cigarette pop out, and like jerry rigging it and making it work. There's like so many examples of this, but for some reason, like Paul, he's a genius. He's a scientist. He's super smart, but he can never quite work these things out. And it's like, is this all on purpose? Is it just like a forced helplessness?
Storage space. You see all the junk in this car? It bounces around, it gets lost, it gets broken. I'm spilling drinks every single day. I spilled it this morning, and it went all over.
Yeah, Paul he is a super clumsy guy. I think he wrecked a laptop once, just like he's emptied a whole thing of coffee onto it.
My electronics. I had to spend a long time drying that out. Electricity. The only electricity I have this power inverter with one outlet and a couple USBs, but only one outlet I can use at a time. I can use this camera.
Yeah, he ordered all this stuff from like cheap shit from Wish.com or Temu or whatever, Alibaba, and they were all like just really fucked. Like that, it was like there's no quality control on what he ordered, so half of it didn't work, or some of them were like trickle charges, so you'd barely get anything out of it.
I can use the computer. If the computer has battery, I can use both. Waste disposal. No, I must travel to someone else's trash can. And since the only places I can really go, again, are these gas stations, how do you think it feels when I go in, I'm carrying these bags of junk, I get out of the car, and I have to go to the same gas stations all the time because I am limited in mobility, and these people inside watch me come out and bring a bunch of bags and put it in the trash can that they are going to have to empty later. How do you think they look at me? Do you think they look at me as a real winner? Someone who they appreciate? I don't want to do that to them. They don't even know I'm in there cleaning their toilet for them. Running water. No, the only running water I have, again, is when I go into a public bathroom, and quite often that water is rank and putrid. Sometimes it just smells like sulfur, and it makes me just start gagging, especially if I ever try to brush my teeth and that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd trust any water in and around Minnesota or like Michigan, like Flint, Michigan. So I'm guessing all the water there is, you might as well stick to bottled, unless you get a really sophisticated filter or an expensive one. Yeah, I would never drink water out of the tap.
Full and immediate access to all my possessions? No, I have to go to storage when they're open. They're only open during the daytime.
Oh.
If I want access to my own possessions. Mobility? No, I'm stuck in the seat. If I leave this car, I leave everything I own and my home at risk of these housed people, not homeless people.
Yeah, I think because the Cougar is in such bad shape, and he doesn't really have anything of value outside of this gaming laptop that he has. That is it. He doesn't have any cash on him. He would probably, yeah, obviously, if you have a wallet and cards and debit cards and stuff like that, you would take it with you. I'm not even sure he had that. What would you steal out of this car? Maybe there is like maybe 1 or 2 guitars in the trunk that he didn't get in storage. Yeah, there's practically very little that's worth it. You wouldn't steal this car unless you wanted to use it like to do some crime, which is possible. Yeah, this is what this car would, but the car didn't run well, so it would be buyer beware or thief beware.
People, the house people, are the ones who will steal or destroy this car. I can't leave this seat. I have no blood flow, no circulation, nothing that resembles.
What do you mean you can't leave that seat? You when you are working and when it wasn't locked down, you would go to work every day. So that's an outright fabrication. That's a lie. You do. You get up out of this chair to go to work. Why lie?
A healthy way to live. A place to exercise, same thing, absolutely not. The ability to earn
No, we're not doing that.
income. No, I told you, I'm the only person who is not allowed to work. Total discrimination against the homeless. Do I have an address for receiving stimulus checks? No, I live in a car. The stimulus checks, they might go in direct deposit, but the thing is, they're based on your previous tax filings. I can't file my taxes. It's a felony because I have to put in a resident address and I don't have one. I have contacted.
Likewise, if it's logically impossible to comply with any legal officer, renew the tags on my card. Well, he did that. He did it. So what happened? So in order to renew his tags, yeah, so he did this. He must have done this. So what was the workaround, Paul? What did you do? You weren't driving around on expired tags, were you? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's true. So he remedied this completely. So he probably used the AMS. He reached out to AMS, said, right, can you just like give me a PO box or a lock bag address, and I can use it with my tags. So yeah, so he would have renewed it. He would have had some sort of address on file, be it AMS or something that AMS supplied for him. So all these arguments go away. Like, so everything you just said, like it's illegal and is bullshit because he was able to renew these plates. All right.
The IRS repeatedly for help with this. They refuse to even discuss it with me until I provide them with a resident address. So I'm paying my taxes. In fact, I'm paying more than I'm supposed to be. I'll never get it back. So I pay my taxes, but I can't file my taxes, and you had to file your taxes to get a stimulus check. So I don't get one. And traditionally, it's
Would you want it anyway? I don't think you would want it anyway because it's a handout, right?
been the same thing with unemployment. I've heard there's some changes there, but I don't know the details on that yet. I don't want unemployment. I want to work for a living, and I don't understand why the homeless person is the only one in the state of Minnesota who wants to work for a living while they're calling me a lazy bum because I live in a car.
I think it's like a very stubborn mentality too. It's like, well, I think he did try for a while to get Social Security, but it was such a hassle in the end that he gave up on it, and then he turned it into a boogeyman where I don't want it. I never wanted it anyway. Fuck that shit. I want to work for a living. So he doubled down instead of actually trying to maybe get Social Security.
This is lunacy, people. You see, the response that Governor Walz didn't always live in a mansion is not relevant. This aide did not understand what I was talking about. They literally cannot comprehend the idea that other people who are not them, empathy, real empathy, not what she called empathy, but the real thing. We live in a fundamentally different way. And those people living out in ditches, on the street, in a tent, they live fundamentally different than I do.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. And it's like the same thing with that Harlan guy. They all sort of lament the fact that there's a hierarchy. So there are people below Paul, and it kind of maybe gets on his nerves, and it gets on Harlan's nerves where it's like, am I really homeless? I'm a fake homeless guy because of this. Do I have to live like them to be homeless? Like, they were always questioning this weird hierarchy. Alright guys, gonna call it there. That is the video for today. The eternal grudge goes on. I wonder if this will bring Paul out of hiding. If he is around, I'm sure he has very strong opinions on the prospect of a possible President Tim Walz. That will really drive him over the edge. Sorry, I forgot to 2x it. So that's Paul in all his glory. Rambling glory. Okay guys, yeah, watch this space, because I get a feeling like this might be the bait to lure Paul out and get him to go off, return to YouTube and go off. So here's hoping guys. Alright, till next time.